let's talk about today. And I thought there were some interesting stories that needed to be not only addressed but brought to the forefront. So, um, one of the first ones, and everybody is a fan of his, at least that I know of, whether it's television or it's feature films, and that's Aaron Sorkin. Aaron Sorkin has been a mainstay in the Hollywood community for the past, I would say, 30 years. Um, but it's very interesting because actually he came out, just the other day and said that he had a stroke last November. So before Camelot rehearsals. So, he's done theater too. So if you don't know Aaron Sorkin, of course, was the architect behind a lot of the good movies that you know or maybe have heard of, such as A Few Good Men, The Social Network, my favorite, my personal favorite, Steve Jobs, um, The American President, and so on. But it's just fascinating. So according to Deadline, it says that Aaron Sorkin, whose adaptation of Camelot opens on Broadway next month, revealed that he had suffered a stroke last November. Quote, this is what he said. Mostly was a loud wake up call, he said in an interview with the New York Times. I thought I was one of those people who could eat whatever he wanted, smoke as much as he wanted, and it's not going to affect me. Boy, was I wrong. The West Wing creator and To Kill a Mockingbird adapter has largely recovered from the incident, which he said happened in November, 2 months before Camelot rehearsals were scheduled to begin. Sorkin says he woke up one night and on his way to the kitchen stumbled to the walls. The next morning, he noticed he was having difficulty holding his orange juice without spilling it. After a doctor, quote, after a doctor that visit that day, he told his his doctor told him that his blood pressure was so high that he was, quote, supposed to be dead, end quote. The 61-year-old Sorkin slurred his words and had difficulty typing for a month, but his lingering symptoms are now his inability to taste food. He says, let me make this very, very clear. I'm fine. I wouldn't want anyone to think that I can't work. I'm fine. So Sorkin has a long-standing smoking habit after the stroke, has improved his diet and exercise routines. I take a lot of medicine. You can hear the pills rattling in me. Times reporter Michael Paulson writes that Sorkin mentioned the stroke in passing and initially asked the disclosure to be off the record. Sorkin has subsequently changed his mind and agreed to go public with the information. If this gets one person stop smoking, then I'll be helpful. Um, well, first and foremost, thank goodness he's okay, because he he's one hell of a person. I've not met the man myself, but just from his creative juices and his genius, he is just a fabulous, fabulous writer. Um, I would hate to see anything happen to him. As I said, he's done a lot of great work. Going back to what I was saying earlier, The West Wing, which people really that's what was really his first um, shot into television. Of course, you have Steve Jobs, A Few Good Men, Moneyball, The Social Network, all critically acclaimed films. His writing is just amazing. Um, you know, The American President. I could go on and on and on. It's just he is an amazing writer. I think he's a top tier writer. He's one of the best writers we have in Hollywood today. And anything you see done by Aaron Sorkin, you know it's going to be good. You just know it. Whether a lot of people like it or not, that's to be determined. Um, it's just the way he writes. And by the way, if anybody has it, and I'm not sponsored by it, but if anybody has it, go check out his masterclass. I loved it. It was insightful. It was interesting. He walks you through his process. Unbelievable. Um, but I'm really glad he's okay, and I'm glad that he's starting to, he's almost fully recovered, and he's getting back to be healthy again. And if this is what it takes, a wake up call, to have this happen, um, then so be it. I mean, sometimes that's what it takes before you really, you know, hit a wall and say, okay, I can't do this anymore. So I'm really happy that he's okay. And, you know, I hope that it looks like Camelot's going to be his next thing. I hope he gets back to writing feature films very soon. Um, so yeah, I'm really, really happy that he's okay. And so, but what do you guys think? So, what things of Aaron Sorkin do you like? Do you like his feature films, like A Few Good Men or Steve Jobs or Moneyball? Or do you particularly like The West Wing? Was that something that you really enjoyed? Leave me your thoughts down in the comments and I'll get back to everybody.